All right, everyone, welcome to the Bro Code. My name is Luther Harris. I'll be hosting our conversation today. Super excited for the call this morning. Wow, this morning, this evening. It's been one of them days, y'all. I was a mascot today for 3 hours, and I haven't been right since. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, but anyway, today we kind of want to start with an open conversation, but primarily we want to walk through. We want to have three people speak. We don't know who those three people are. We're going to allow them to volunteer tonight. But we want to have someone give a testimony who has been in on Plexus for if this is their first year in, okay? Between year one and year two. Okay, then we're gonna have someone give a testimony who is between year two and year five and talk about why have they stuck with it this long. Okay. And then we want to have someone talk about after year five, why keep taking gut health products, right? Like you like I think some people the one of the questions I get all the time is, do I have to take it? I'm like, I mean, you don't have to. If you want to feel good though, I would. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so but I want people to understand through that progression, like why would you start gut health products? Why would you keep taking them? And then after a while, like what is the benefit of continuing over 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, right? What's the benefit of taking gut health products that long? So with that said, anybody on the call want to jump in and give a testimony, like first to second year into Plexus testimony and what it's done for you? I know we got some on here.
Sam, let's go. Let's see you, bud.
Let's go, Sam. Let's get it.
Well, I've not quite been on Plexus for a year, but my testimony is pretty similar to Ian and John's. I was able to get away from a caffeine addiction and dependency on energy drinks and a bunch of coffee every day. And I've been able to unlock another level of fitness. John can attest to it. He keeps seeing my run times and everything. Last May, when I started, I would knock out a 5K in about 36 minutes. Just knocked out one this morning at 24 minutes. And 5K is 3.1 miles for those who, yeah, would rather it be in miles.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I can attest to the fact that I was not expecting the gym gains that Triplex brought me. Not at all. Not at all, but they have been incredible. All right. So for my years 2 to 5 people, right? I want to hear somebody who's been in at least 2 years, maybe right at 2 years to that 5 year span. Where are my people that have been? Okay, Bill Ferry. I saw you raise your hand. Bryant, we'll come back. We can hear from both of y'all. That's fine. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Now I can't hear you. You went back on mute.
You there?
Yep, there we go.
All right. Hey, fellas, good to be here. I started Plexus about I just March was my 4 year anniversary. So I've been doing this for a little bit. Like most people, I was pretty skeptical. I come into Plexus. I've known Justin and Megan Golf for years. I knew them before they were in Plexus. So I got to watch their rise to fame, so to speak. As friends, we do church together. Me and Justin do a lot of hunting together and things like that. Spend a lot of time together. But Plexus is too good to be true in my eyes. It fixed everybody's whatever. I mean, it fixed everything. Everything you heard about Plexus was it fixes it. I always thought from the outside looking in, it would fix a crack in your concrete if you poured Plexus on it. But my wife wanted to start the products. My wife had set. Was dealing with a little premenopause. She had some weight gain. We were 50 years old, and she wanted to start the product. So after a couple weeks of discussion, where I did not want to do it, but I'm just going to say it here. She's got half the money and all the honey, so she usually wins the battles. So we started Plexus. I thought, worst case scenario, in 60 days, I get my money back. So with that, we started. Now, I am a mailman, or was a mailman. I retired from the postal business. I walk 16 miles a day, and I've had surgery on my knees, I've shoulder. I've had 12 surgeries in my life, but my knees at the time were what was killing me. And I thought worst or best case scenario, it helps my knees a little bit. I had just went through a couple series of the Rooster Shot. It's a chicken cartilage injection they shoot into your knees. It's kind of like a grease zerk. If you're going to grease a piece of equipment, it's kind of got grease in your knee. So I had just went through one. It lasted about 5 months, 5.5 months, somewhere in that ballpark. And you can get one every 6 months. So I pushed the second one back a little bit, so I make sure it got me through turkey season, because they told me that the second one wouldn't last as long as the first one, and it lasted 5 days. So about the same time I did that, we were discussing about Plexus, and then we start Plexus. I really didn't know much about it outside. It was some gut health miracle, and fixed everything. So for me, I started off in 3 weeks to a month. I was on a turkey hunt in Texas, and I noticed my knees weren't hurting. I was starting to walk down a big pile of rocks. It was a level change in the terrain, and I was thinking about how I was going to walk down this pile of rocks to get down to where I needed to be. And when you got bad knees, you got to think about things. And I ran through it, and my knees didn't hurt, which was unusual for me. So from that point back to the truck, I was thinking on every step I took because my knees weren't hurting. I had a blind on my shoulder. I had my bow in my hand, my camera gear. I had a turkey over my shoulder. So I had plenty of weight, and my knees typically would be killing me, and they didn't hurt. So long story short, I was able to prolong. So far, it's been 4 years. I have not had to have the knee replacement surgery that my doctor was recommending when the second Rooster Shot stopped. He said, there's really nothing left to do except replace your knee. So for me, I've been 4 years in. Now, I don't do a lot of running. I'm not going to push the fact, but I have been in the mountains. I do some hiking. I do some things. I just don't overdo my knees. I was taking Triplex and loading doses of Ease. I went on to lose, well, first, my knee stopped hurting. That was the first thing. More energy. Everybody gets more energy. That's going to be something right out of the gate for most people. But then my knees, and then my sleep. I started sleeping all night long. I was a wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning type of guy. Never used an alarm clock for work. And then I started sleeping later and later. And now I have to use an alarm clock to wake up. So, and then my weight loss started. So instantly my knees stopped hurting, sleeping better, more energy. And then my weight started dropping off. I was about 230, in the 230s when I started Plexus, and I had gotten down to about 209-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. And Justin Goff's like, man, you look good. I said, well, I'm kind of stalled out at 209, but I feel great, man. I got energy, sleeping like a rock star, and my knees aren't hurting. And he said, how much water are you drinking? So I told him I didn't drink water, that I was, if it didn't have flavor, I didn't need it. And he told me that I had to use water with this stuff. So come home that night after the Bible study and told my wife that I am going all in. My knees stopped hurting. My weight's coming down. I sleep. I got energy. I got all the wins. And I'm not even doing it right because I'm not drinking water. So that night I went straight on water. I haven't drank anything since outside of my coffee and my Plexus drinks and water. That's been it for me. And instantly my weight dropped down under 200 pounds. And then about another month and a half, somewhere in that ballpark, I was at 180, which is the high school weight that I graduated in, where I got out of boot camp in, was 180. And I've been walking around ever since. So about 6 months in, 5 to 6 months in, I was at 180 pounds, and I started. Now, remember, I walked 16 miles a day as a mailman at 230 to 260, retire from that, and now I drive a truck. I work for the state, do some maintenance work. I sit in a truck mostly, and I walk around in between 180 and 190. I fluctuate in that ballpark there, depending on the holidays or what's going on, but most of the time it's on the lower side of the 180s. So Plex has been just from a non-believer, super skeptic. I knew about it for 6 years. I watched Justin Megan story forever, and it changed my world. So that's my testimony. My wife went on to lose 50 pounds as well. So we're both doing great.
Dude, man, that's incredible. So here's what stuck out to me about your testimony, Bill, and what I love that you presented just now. You started with the how you got healthy, how your body had to heal first, and then the weight started coming off. And so many people miss that, right? Like Plexus is like it will help with weight loss, yes, but the goal is to get your body healthy, right? And so you walk through how, you started just getting healthy and then your knees stop hurting and then the sleep start getting better. And then all of these things happen and then the weight started to come off once your body reached the point of homeostasis. And it was like, you know what? Now we can put energy into getting off this weight that we don't need so we can continue to function and optimize our function. Man, that was an incredible testimony. Okay. I am gonna Bryant, I do want to hear yours, but I'm gonna jump to 10 years real quick because I invited my buddy Jay on. So I want to jump to that 8 to 10 years, and then Bryant, we're gonna come back to you. I know Jay has to bounce. So Jay, thanks for jumping on. Jay, this is Jay Brocklebank. He is an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus. And so Jay, thanks for being on tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I've got to make it kind of quick. We've got four kids and they're all 9 and younger. So we are right in the middle of bath time coming home from puppy preschool. So that's that's been a blast. Not really. So yeah, like Luther said, I am an Emerald Ambassador. I live in Spring Hill, Tennessee. This is just south of Nashville, about 30 minutes. Um, and I've been with Plexus. My wife and I've been with Plexus now for almost 9 years. 9 years in July, I think. I think my journey with Plexus started a lot like a lot of other guys. A friend of a mom of a friend of mine. We were at church camp one summer 9 years ago, and she came to Meredith, my wife, and asked if she would be interested. And Meredith had already kind of been looking at Plexus. And Sorry, my phone's going off. Let me mute it real quick. Um, and she came to my wife and asked if she'd be interested. And Meredith said yes. It's kind of uh, the short version of that. And At the time, my wife was a high school math teacher at a private Christian school in Nashville. I was working in private security. And so neither one of us were really rolling in it by any means whatsoever. And so budget wise, that kind of that strained us. But I was a supportive husband, and I said, you know what, you do your thing. I'm here for you, right? Um, and uh, Pretty quickly after starting, I honestly I don't even remember what she started with, Slim and something else. I don't know. And But pretty quickly I started to see a difference. We had a somewhat newborn at the time. He was several months old. And so we were pretty tired. Um, and like I said, I started seeing a difference in her. I started seeing the Meredith, I guess, that I knew kind of coming back. And so I was like, oh, maybe there is something to this. Um, and she decided like I said, she was a math teacher, so she was already looking at the compensation plan, and this was something she wanted to do the business right from the start. Um, and so she looked at the comp plan and decided this is doable. This is something that is achievable. And she said, even if it takes me 10 years, I'm going to make it to the top. She's a Sapphire now. We're close to Diamond. We can see it. We're almost there. Um, and I remember our dog, not this current dog, but the one we had at the time, had a pretty expensive vet bill. And if y'all have pets and you've ever been, just going to the vet in general is stupid expensive. But if you ever have to go to the emergency vet, it's a whole nother level. And uh, so he had to go to, I forgot what, he had a seizure or something and had to go to the emergency vet. And I remember seeing the bill, the vet bill, and just thinking like, how are we going to pay for this? And I remember her leaning over and she said, "Don't worry, my Plexus paycheck will cover this entire bill." And I just thought, okay, there's something to this. So uh, my belief in the products was already there. I was, like I said, I saw her, the change in her. At this point, I had started stealing her products. I was, like I said, I was in security, working weird hours. I was tired. Um, and I started taking Edge. Edge is my favorite product. And Active is a great product, but for me, it doesn't work. Edge does it for me. And so I started taking Edge Slim. I noticed a big difference. I noticed that I wasn't. Um, I'm pretty forgetful, right? I lose my keys, I lose my wallet, and it stopped happening as often. Um, and like I said, she said her paycheck would, where Plexus paycheck would cover the bill. So my belief in the product was already there. Now my belief in the business was starting to get a little bit more. Um, Fast forward a little bit to the following summer. We had just missed convention because of when we started Plexus in July. The following year convention was in Las Vegas. This would have been 2017, I believe. Um, and she asked me if I wanted to go to convention with her. At that time, we had never met anybody on our team, just other than doing some Zoom calls from time to time. So I went with her, and almost immediately. So here's a little plug for convention. If you're not registered for convention and you are able to go, you need to get registered and go. It's one, it's awesome, and two, if your belief is you're kind of seeing it, but you're still a little skeptical, this is what got me over the hump. Walking into convention, seeing the marketing, seeing the belief of everyone else that was there. This particular year, I think we were at the MGM Grand. There was about 12,000 people there. And I met Alec for the first time, um, and Tarl, and then just hearing the ambassadors up on stage and hearing the belief that they had, and I quickly, I mean, my belief went from wherever it was at, and it just skyrocketed. And I haven't looked back ever since. So, um, fast forward now to now. Like I said, now I'm an emerald. My wife's a sapphire, and we're pushing for diamond. So, yeah, that's me. Uh,
I love
Appreciate
it. Jay forgot to mention that he's a full-time dad now.
it.
Like legit.
So I guess 3 years roughly now. I left. My wife left her job. Uh, I don't even remember when she left. When she hit gold, I believe it was. She went part time. It was a little early. I know there's a lot of people. The people that do leave, it was a little early. But she, like I said, her belief in the system, and she just dug in and just worked hard. And so, um, yeah, I think it's been about 3 years now, and I came home. And yeah, I'm home full time as well.
I mean, what else y'all gotta hear? You know what I mean? So Jay, thank you for jumping on and
Yeah,
sharing that quickly. There's so much we could piggyback on, but I'm gonna wait on it. I just appreciate you jumping in and sharing that with us. Because
absolutely.
I know there's a ton of men on here who cannot wait until they can say, yeah, Plexus brought me home.
Well, I will say, I mean,
I'm one
being
of them.
home full time, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I loved my job. It was private security, but I worked at a Christian school, a university in Nashville. And I loved being on campus. It's where I went to school. And hey, we made it to the NCAA tournament. So tomorrow, 12:15, Lipscomb University. But hey, I I love being on campus every day. I love being with the students. I love all the guys that I worked with and the girls. They were awesome. But nothing could beat being home with the kids and my wife and um, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it and not have to put in for time off, hoping that it gets accepted.
I love it. I love it, man. Thank you again for sharing
Yeah.
that. And cool. And then Brian, like I said, I wanted to come back to you. Wanted to hear your story. Brian, you said how long has it been for you?
Think I'm coming up on 3 years.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So dialing it back, we got Brian at 3 years.
So it's a perfect segue. He worked in security. I was actually installing security and surveillance, and now I'm leaning more into the network security side. But my Plexus journey began actually with my wife right after we had our son, who is 2.5 years old. She just wanted to get on products. And a couple months into taking products, she's like, I think I want to start selling these products. And I was a little hesitant with that because we're from a very, very small community, like less than 1,000 people in our town. And I had heard about Plexus and come to find out just 4 miles away, there's a diamond that I told her, yeah, I think our market's pretty saturated around here. So, I mean, you can give it a try. Wish you the best. And it kind of took off from there. And probably 6 months into it, she was like, would you be interested in start taking the products? And said, yeah, I guess I'll give it a try. I can go back to Bill, or who was our first one that shared, who had the caffeine, just did it for caffeine. I was pre-workout was my go-to. I think I messaged the group that the other day. Basically, when it come to check labels, I basically just look for the highest caffeine content. I didn't even know what other ingredient there was besides give me the strongest you got. But years and years upon that, the crashes and just kind of getting addicted to that stimulants, there was always, I just got trapped in a cycle of, and I'm sure others can relate, Sunday I would not take anything. Monday would be great, Tuesday, but by the end of the week, it's like, all right, I need double scoops, and to the point where you're just plain exhausted. Now that I've done some research on it, just your adrenals, you're putting them to the max. And she was actually the one that educated me on gut health, and because she's a nurse, her background's nurse, so she has actually got me educated on way more than I would have ever even considered. So I started on Triplex, and I had the sleep issues in the past and noticed that would start to never really paid attention to it. I just, it's a night I can't sleep, and progress or got better. And I actually, any of you heard of the Sunday Scaries? There's actually a gummy that it's called the Sunday Scaries. It was a CBD thing that I would usually take every Sunday. Just, all right, we're starting the work week over. I could not sleep on Sundays. And the Plexus sleep product has got to be one of the best I have ever taken. I can take a nap and sleep like a rock. It's highly recommended if anybody else has sleep issues. But I never really was one to notice like weight loss, or was never really striving for it. I think it really, really hit me with one day we were just kind of bored going through and looking at pictures, and we had done just a side-by-side picture of 2 years ago before we had started the products, and then our most recent family picture. And then that's when it hit me like, oh my goodness, I've never really considered myself overweight, but you could just see it like in the face. And ever since then, it's like I'm a full believer in the products. I've been on a few resets. That is a great mental challenge to just get through, but I love the feeling after this last the cruise we actually just got back from. We did a big group reset before that, and yeah. And then going on that cruise, he brought up the convention. Felt really good and motivated after that. That cruise, just being around everybody, was awesome. Great thing to be a part of.
Man, appreciate you sharing, Brian. And we've heard it twice now, so I want to make sure that we index on it. The community. Again, I've said this before. One of the things about this, yes, the products keep me going all day. When I don't take y'all, I ran it like I guess it was a couple months ago. Me and my wife got our orders mixed up. She didn't order something. We ran out of ProBio 5. That will never happen in my house again. Okay? Because like it was all off. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, this is not it. Okay. But that's how you know it works, right? Like the products work, but even more so than the products, what we just heard from both Jay and from Bryant, man, this community is incredible. You get the convention, not in, like anything we've seen before. Leaders retreat, not like anything I've ever seen before. And I've been to 3 leaders retreats in the last 2 years, and it's been insane every time. Every time, Michael can attest to it. Every time. And so with that, what I just kind of want to recap before we jump into the next segment. And we're gonna hold y'all for another 15 minutes. But just to recap, we heard from someone who's been in Plexus less than 2 years. Why even start? Bill said it best, because gut health fixes everything. If you take care of your gut, the rest of your body will fall into place. Okay. All the stuff that we hear about, see on the news, all these commercials with the fine print at the end where the guy's talking real fast and real low, so you just pay attention to the girl skipping through the garden, even though it's like, yeah, but death though. Like this is what they tell people, right? It's like, yeah, she's skipping through the garden, but she might die though. Like that, and that's just real, right? Like if you address your gut, most of that stuff goes away, or it becomes much more manageable with proper diet and proper nutrition. Okay. So this is not one of those like, this ain't witchcraft, right? This is science. This is gut health, right? So we heard from Bill, gut health changes everything. Why stay on it? Because what Bryant said, right? Because things really start to fall in place. Yes, they happen early on, but then you start to notice. And if you're like me and you have you don't order your ProBio 5, like you gonna know that. You don't order your Bio Cleanse, you gonna know that. You're like, oh, this stuff really is helping my system. We've had people say that. Oh man, I didn't think that was doing anything, but then I stopped it. And I'm like, told you. Told you. Go ahead, get back on here and let's get healthy. Right? And we got to remember that the stuff that we put in our bodies every day, the food that we put in our bodies every day, it has crap in it, y'all. It don't matter if you eating clean. Okay. If you're not raising the cow, if you're not growing the green beans, if you're not growing it, it has crap on it. Okay. And when you put that stuff in your body, it puts stress on your system. What Plexus does is a tool to help transform your relationship with food and help your body optimize what it's using. All right. And then we heard from Jay. Why keep going? Why stay in the game? He's home now. He's home now. Right. And like he said, being home isn't for everybody, but I would tell you what is. The option to be home is. What if you had the option to just be like, man, you know what? Y'all playing. I'm out. And we good. right? Like, what if you just had the option? Right. Today is a fishing day. I'm out. Right. We going to the range today, bro. I'm done with this. Like, it's like that. That would be me. So, why stay in the game, man? Because the compound effect over time. Kyle Rainey said this. Like, we're transforming lives, both from a health perspective and from a life perspective, right? Like this business opportunity has the potential to change your lifestyle. Okay, change your lifestyle. And with that, we're gonna jump into how do we get people into what we are doing? Where did he go? Where's Ian? Did he jump? Oh, Ian and John had to jump. Okay, so we're not gonna keep y'all for another 15 minutes. Michael, did you have anything that you wanted to share? Michael was going to share about sharing authentically, and so we are going to jump over to Michael. But Ian and
I
John
can
had to
cover to
jump.
Ian.
I love it.
Look, I want to point out as I look at my screen, like I don't know if you guys have it on gallery right now, but we've got men of all ages
Yeah,
in this call. And I think
yeah,
that's the coolest thing. Like gut health is for everybody. We all have our own benefits. We all have our own needs. And this community, like it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are, there's a place for you. The community is probably one of the greatest things, and so one of my big things is I never get sick with Plexus. I started getting a scratchy throat last night. I took 4 Probio 5, and dude, Ethan, I'm sorry if you went on the calls, man. I slept through both of them. Like I was out, out, just gone. Um,
I was the
and
only one
it's
responding.
yeah, like truthfully, when a guy reached out to me about Plexus. He reached out. All right, I'm 35 years old. I'm active duty Marine, gunnery sergeant. Like I had earned my way to where I was. I was very proud of where I was. My fitness was on point. My performance, meh. But either way, I weighed 165 pounds at 5'8". I was pretty well built. And this guy reaches out to me and he's like, "Hey man, this product helped me lose 93 pounds. You should check it out." Dude, like what if I had not gone to high school with this guy, I never would have checked it out. It was such an inauthentic approach to what Plexus is. And, as we're bringing more and more people in the community, he got me when he said, "Well, you've been napping a whole bunch, and I've seen pictures of you taking a nap on your couch. Would you want to check it out if it would help with your energy?" That was authentic. That was the moment of looking at like, this is where you are in life right now. Your joints hurt. You've got a bottle of ibuprofen that's in your desk drawer, and you're going to end up buying another bottle next month, and then one again the month after that because you go through for so many headaches, joint pains, whatever it may be. These are the things that we notice as men, our buddies who are going for, if you happen to be in, well, one of the groups, a woman just shared she spent $270 a month on her energy drinks, right? Hey, I know you're drinking a ton of energy drinks right now. That's got to be getting expensive. Is it inauthentic? Like, back me up. If I said, "Hey, maybe you don't want to be drinking all those. Like, if I could offer you something that will help and you probably end up sleeping better and feeling better through the day, would you want to check that out?" I think most guys would say yes. And sharing authentically, when we were talking before the call, it's as simple as recognizing where somebody is and trying to imagine what's going on in their life right now. And if you can't, there are guys on this call, I will say I cannot imagine the situation that you've been in. And I am very comfortable telling you that because you have had to walk through, there are little children here, but you've had to walk through some stuff. And you've had to do it whether it was on your own, whether you had somebody by your side. I can't imagine what that is. But I will tell you there is somebody in this community who's probably had a similar experience, and there's a place for you here. Would you be open to coming and join us? Right? Like we are all stronger together as this community. Health is the thing that brings us together. We may, some guys may not enjoy going to the range. I don't judge. Some guys may not enjoy range days. Some guys may want to go golfing. If you take me golfing, Don't stand next to me. Don't stand behind me. I don't even know where you should stand. Like, not safe.
I'll make that happen.
All right. Recognize where somebody is and try to see things from their point of view because truthfully, and I don't say this lightly, you could save a life. There aren't a whole lot of guys out there looking to improve health. There aren't. And this past week, speaking with a corpsman, if anybody who's so corpsman is our doc. If you're a Marine, the Navy takes care of you. You can make jokes after we get off the call about Navy being the daddy. I don't care. But Navy is the one that provides your medical care. And speaking with my old doc, he was with me when we invaded Iraq. This dude, what he said went. Will was the man. And I talked to him. I said, look, bro, I'd love to help you with your health, but the truth is, you'd be really good at this business. People respect you. You know what you're talking about. You know the benefit. You shouldn't look at this for a business. And we got on the phone. He said, look, man, I'm blue collar. I'm a lineman. I'm in my late 40s. My wife was just talking about getting on Ozempic yesterday. Nobody's down here in Alabama talking about this stuff. Like, where have you been? Nobody's going to listen to the women that are out there. Not the guys that I work with, not the coal miners, not the linemen, not the police, not the firefighters. People need this, and they need to hear it from us. So the entire thing on being authentic, look, be honest. We're not promising rainbows and unicorns. Uh, you're gonna have better bowel movements. You're gonna sleep better. Your energy is gonna improve. Your mental clarity. I think we heard that tonight. Edge is a phenomenal supplement.
Hmm.
If you need to check that out, try the different things. Know what you're talking about, but recognize and understand you don't have to be the expert. Just be a good bro. That's where the whole bro code came from.
Hmm.
And don't hesitate to reach out because truthfully, and I say this very, very honestly, I've heard it from at least a few guys. You could save a life. Um, and you know what? On that note, I will invite Luther. I owe you. There is a man who wants to join us that it did save his life because him and his wife both openly stated he would not have lived with the pain that he was going through. And Plexus is what brought him back. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Be authentic. Don't hesitate to reach out. Somebody may say no, but if that's the worst that they're going to say, like, so what?
Powerful. Rate, show of hands, just real quick. If when you started Plexus, you were at a point you were just like, dude, something got to change. Like if that was you. Yeah, right? I was at a point in my life where something had to change, something had to give. Because I wasn't showing up good. I wasn't showing up well for my wife. I wasn't showing up well for my kids. I wasn't myself. And I was more and more not myself by the day. Um, and thankfully, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, like that's not normal. You should give this another shot." And I did, right? And so remember that our heart in this is not to make money. Our heart in this is to help other men lead their families in their health. That's our heart here. That's why this Broco started. That's why this Broco has been going for a year and a half, right? To help show people, show men specifically, what it looks like to lead your family and your health so that you can show up better, so that you can show it better at work or with your family, so that you can show it better with your kids, so that you can show it better at work, so that you can show it better in life. And that's what this is about. And that's what our heart is. So if you take nothing else from tonight, I want you to take away these two things. One, these products work and they change lives. Two, if you know the first to be true, which we've seen it multiple times tonight, don't keep your mouth shut about it. Don't keep your mouth shut about it. One second. Ethan, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you mind if we feature you at the beginning of next week? Can you be here? Perfect. Perfect. And we have a very we have a very, very, very big call next week, and I want you to invite your guys. We're gonna hear from my brother Justin Goff. He's gonna be here with us next week to pour into us. We'll hear from Ethan's testimony first. And then we're gonna hear Justin's testimony, and I'm prayerfully his son will be able to jump on too, because the story of their family, how Plex has brought Justin home, and the influence that he's been able to have with his son, they're gonna talk about that. Okay. And so y'all do not want to miss next week. Okay. Invite your friends. Next week's going to be incredible. And with that, I hope y'all have a blessed night. And we bid y'all all well until next week from the Broco. Have a good one.